good that we can expound on this great and awesome wisdom that Yahweh God has given us. Because these are the things that we need to know. These are the things that will make us comfortable in this journey. We know that this is a time of our festivity and which Yahweh God has given us. And Yahweh God has given us all the things that we need in this journey back, because one of the most important things of the law was that Israel would understand their importance to their God. And that is that they would keep the commandments of Yahweh and serve Yahweh God with love. You understand? In other words, our whole commitment in life is to serve Yahweh. We have no other commitment. Nothing else is more important than that. Anything else is a waste of our time. You know, we don't put mother, father, sister, husband, or anything in front of that. The service of Yahweh is that all in all that makes everything else work. So we put the right thing in the right place. And therefore, to serve and to keep these things that Yahweh told us to keep, it brings us eternal joy. In Leviticus chapter 23, verse 33, it says, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying," Leviticus 23, verse 33, "Speak unto the sons of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles for 7 days unto Yahweh. On the first day shall be a holy convocation, ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of Yahweh which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and a drink offering, everything upon his days, besides the Shabbat of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your free will offering which ye give unto Yahweh. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Shabbat, and on the 8th day shall be a Shabbat. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and branches of thick trees, and willow of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before Yahweh your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generation. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelite born shall dwell in booths, that your generation may know that I made the sons of Israel to dwell in booths. So Sukkot means booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am Yahweh your God. And Moses declared unto the sons of Israel the feast of Yahweh. So these was to remind us. It is to draw us close to Yahweh. So, because there's nothing more important than being close to Yahweh God. Yahweh wanted Israel to be very close to him. He gave them everything so that they would be. He wanted us so close. He says in Exodus chapter 25, verse 8, Yahweh God has a great love for us. And that love was proven in everything. Exodus 25, verse 8.
Yes.
What does it say?
And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them.
So Yahweh God told them, he said, make me a sanctuary, and I'm going to dwell among them. That's phenomenal. Yahweh God didn't say you're going to go away. He loves us so much that he said he wanted to be among us. This is something that we should be proud that Yahweh God, and we should understand what the Torah, what the teachings of the prophecy. But what transpired in our existence was, let's go to Deuteronomy, because in Deuteronomy chapter 8, Yahweh warned us consistently not to forget him. He warns us consistently. He said, don't let these material things take you from me. You understand what I'm saying? He says, I want you to remember me. And he constantly spoke in the ears. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 8, I'm starting from 11 to 20. He says, beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy God, and not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes which I command thee this day. Remember, Yahweh didn't go up in some strange place. He wanted to be among us. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwell therein, and when thy herd and thy flock multiply, thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, where were fiery serpents and scorpions, and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with mammon, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou sayest in thy heart, my power and my might of my hand has gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore to thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget Yahweh thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish, as the nations which Yahweh destroyed before your face. So shall ye perish, because ye would not obey unto the voice of Yahweh your God. And Yahweh mentions this being the voice, because this is the voice of Yahweh. And even when Daniel, in his supplication, and he talked about these things, that Israel, but let's go to Psalm 106. Because the worst thing we could have done was what? Forget about our God. And what have we done? We've forgotten about him. That's why the circumstances is pending. Because the people are what? They have what? Psalm 106 verse 21. Psalm 106 verse 21. See, to forget him was a terrible, brought about terrible misfortune. What does it say?
They forgot Allah their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt.
Okay, see, they had forgotten. That was their worst problem, that they forgot. That's why it says Sakara, remember. You can't remember something, you only, someone tells you to remember something that what? You forgot. Don't you remember we was on the train? Don't you remember that ride we had? Because he did it, you just calling it back. And this is what the Torah is about. It's calling the prophecy back to what is in us. It relates to us. The description is ours. You don't have to, you can wear your kippah and everything. It is yours. You're not imitating somebody else. This belongs to you. You're calling it back to what? Remembrance. Let's go, why? Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. And Daniel in his supplication prayed because Israel, you are beloved of your God. But you have to know how to take this more serious, Israel. Because let's say Daniel chapter 9, let's start from 3 to 19. Okay?
I set my face unto Yahweh Elohim to seek my prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahweh my God, and made my confession, and said, O Yahweh, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants and the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princesses, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto you, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them because of their trespass, that they have trespassed against thee. O Yahweh, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princesses, to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. To Yahweh, our Elohim, belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants and prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice, neither that the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, servant of Elohim, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges and that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole earth have not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before Yahweh our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore have Yahweh watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For Yahweh our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice. For now Yahweh our God, that has brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and has gotten thee renowned, as at this day we have sinned, we have done wickedly. O Yahweh, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thy anger and thy fury be turned away from the city of Jerusalem, thy holy mountain, because of our sins, and for the iniquity of our fathers. Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach to all that are about us. Now therefore, O Yahweh, hear the prayer of thy servant and his supplications, and cause thy face to shine upon the sanctuary that is desolate for Yahweh's sake. O Yahweh, decline thy ear and hear, open thy eyes upon our desolations, and the city which is called by thy name. For we do not present our supplications before thee for our righteousness, but for thy great mercies. O Yahweh, hear, O Yahweh, forgive, O Yahweh, hearken and do, refer not, For thy own sake, O my God, for thy city and thy people are called by thy name.
So we can see that Daniel realized that a great wrong that we done to our God, and he is praying. And he says also, you know, in Deuteronomy chapter, because it was always a warning that we would not do anything but the right thing, because Yahweh God was going to keep his word, as Daniel said. He said, hey, he kept his word. What he said, he did. And why? Because we did not hearken to what Yahweh God told us to do. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 12. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 12. It says here, then beware lest thou forget Yahweh which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Then beware. It was a warning that we should beware so that we would not forget him. And Yahweh went on even into Jeremiah, and he told how the people would what? Forget him. But Yahweh God, he definitely heard the prayers of that prophet. And truly, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 32. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 32. See, and these things that we should know for truth.
It says, can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me, days without number.
What did it say? See, we've forgotten our God. We forgot our God. He said, days without numbers, we have forgotten him. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people, and see, God only had one people. I've nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. That's right. He said he nourished us. He brought us up. But what we did, we rebelled against him. So Yahweh said we have forgotten. In Jeremiah 50 verse 6. Jeremiah 50 verse 6. That's right. 50 verse 6. Go.
My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherd have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountain. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Yeah, see, didn't we forget before we understood? I want to bring this into understanding. We're in the resting place. But I'm talking about those that have forgotten. What's the resting place? We're going to come to that. Because we're in the resting place. But if you look out in the world, this is the rest where we'll cause the weary to rest, but they would not hear. We're in the rest. This is the rest. Like you're trying to find, well, where is this at? You're in it. Why? Because you're no longer forgetting. You have returned. You are remembering. So as you remember who you are, you do accordingly. Okay? So it says here, okay, let's go to Jeremiah 22. Jeremiah 22. Jeremiah 22, verse 8 to 9.
It says, and many shall pass by the city, and they shall say every man to his neighbor, wherefore hath Yahweh done thus unto this great city? Then they shall answer, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh thy God, and worship other gods, and serve them.
That's right. It says, then they shall answer, because they have forsaken the covenant of what their God possesseth, and worship other gods and serve them. Because they saw the devastation of the city. They said, what? What he said? And the answer was, These people forsook their God. You understand? And therefore, but what we can see that Yahweh God definitely dealt and is still dealing with us. It said, let's go to 2 Kings. 2 Kings. 2 Kings, I just wanted to show you that Israel did a lot of evil. Man, like, hey, for us to be able to arrive and come back. 2 Kings 17. 2 Kings, that's why we should love our God, Yahweh God. There's no question that we should love Him, because there's no reason for what all we did to our God. I just want to bring this to remembrance so you'll know where you at. 2 Kings chapter 17.
Chapter
Verse 38.
It says, "And the covenant that I have made with you, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods."
See, so he said that covenant you should not forget. Didn't we forget it? Oh yes, we did. And therefore it was our decline. So what must we do? Since we forgot it, what should we do? We should do what? Remember it. And return back to it. Because Yahweh God is a gracious God. That's right. He's a gracious God. Why? Because Israel did some terrible things to their God. Let's go to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel. That's what you got to do. 1 Samuel chapter 12. First Samuel chapter 12 verse 9. 1 Samuel chapter 12 verse 9, yeah.
And when they forgot Yahweh their God, He sold them into the hand of Sisera, captain of hosts of Hazor, and into the land of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab. And they fought against them. They fought against them.
Yes, so when we forgot, they dispersed. We were dispersed. When we did it, we kept everybody off our back. It was nothing. It was like a seesaw. We couldn't see that. If we wanted to be able to accomplish what we want to do,
You began to think it was us and not God.
That's right. We began to think it was us. We are attached to the Ruach of Yah. You don't mess with this covenant. It is an agreement that He expects you to keep. And when you forget it, He has a reminder. Because He said, bind this for what? A sign. So you evidently didn't read the sign. The sign is your life wouldn't have stability. Certain things would happen around you that you had to question. And you said, well, these things that have come upon me, what have I done? If you keep the Torah, these things don't come upon you. Because that was the agreement. If you're in the agreement, then you're in your safety zone. Then Yahweh God can use you. But when you forget these things, then you in peril of all other situations that is unagreeable to your nature. So, yeah, let's go to Judges 3. Judges 3. We wanna Judges 3 verse 7. Judges 3 verse 7. I want to make sure that, okay, go ahead.
And the children of Israel in the sight of the Elohim, and forget the Elohim, their Yahweh, and serve Baalim and the groves.
The groves. Okay, see, we did evil, and what every time we did what it said we forgot our God. We turned away from Him. You understand what I'm saying? We just said, hey, let me go. So let's go to Hosea 8:14. Hosea 8:14. Hosea 8:14. Oh yeah, I want to show you. See, this has nothing, we're just reading it over to know that we're going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? This is proving that we are in the right direction. That's all it's proving. This is 8:14. What does it say? 8:14.
For Israel hath forgotten his maker and builded temples, and Judah hath multiplied fenced cities. But I will set a fire upon his cities and shall devour the places thereof.
That's right. Because they forgot. They forgot. They forgot to do the things. Now, Yahweh is a great God. There's no God like him.
Amazing how that, I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. But before then, they just forgot. But see, the Bible don't tell you dates.
Right.
So you don't know whether it was like one, but it gives you almost like they did it one, but it was dates. They was in that land for hundreds and thousands of years before this, and they just began to take things for granted.
Right.
You understand why? Because you need things to stimulate. And you would say
all they was doing was everything was built around the Lord. So you just would say, wow.
Well, the only thing that could have happened is that what happens is that someone stopped doing their job and making them know, and those that were doing the job must not have been as many. And then because the whole thing is that something took place to where the people began to forget. That's why I say the leaders. When you read this book, you find out it was always the leaders. The leaders caused the people to err. Because the people followed the leaders. If the leaders was crooked, the leaders made the people crooked. So, but let's go to Hosea 8 verse 14. Okay, we read that, right? So I want to go to Deuteronomy again. 32:18. Deuteronomy 32:18. And I want to make it crystal clear that this is designed so we will know what we're doing. Deuteronomy 32 verse 18. What does it say?
It says, of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful and hast forgotten God, forgotten Yahweh that formed thee.
That's right. See, it's a beautiful thing. It says, of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful. We became unmindful and has forgotten Elohim that formed thee. We were formed. See, Israel was made. That's why you don't have to worry about nobody taking this. Because Elohim gave it to you. This is your birthright. You have to be born an Israelite. And one of the tribes was 12. And one of them is Judah, which they say Yehuda or Jew. And it was Levi. There was Simeon. Daniel. There were other tribes, and there were 12 of them. So don't let people think that they can rob God. You can't rob him. He gave it to you. He made you. So let's see Yahweh God, with all that we have done, with all the things that we have been unmindful of. Yahweh God is a great God, because we did some terrible things. Would you not agree to that? Because I would. He said, let's go to, let's stay in Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 31, because Yahweh is a great God. I mean, man, when you really read this and study it, I mean, with all that we did, he is truly a God of compassion. And what does he say in Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 31? What does he say? Because we want to know, is there a chance? What he says?
For the Elohim that merciful Elohim, and will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forgive the covenant of thy fathers which he sware upon them.
Okay, so he said, for Yahweh thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them. So Yahweh God is going to keep, after all we've done, he's going to adhere to the covenant. This is beautiful. This is something we want to read and know. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 44 verse 21. We want to know what Yahweh will do to us, for us, because we know we did a lot of bad things, man. Didn't we do a lot of bad things? Yes, we did. There's no question. And we came into America to be destroyed. We came into America and said, though Israel be as the sands of the sea, what? Only a remnant.